My second paragraph on answering this rat extract for question 3 would revolve around the end of the extract. So I'm looking at the last two paragraphs and I'm just going to outline my thoughts. So if we see here, it says, used to seeing the remains chucked around the living like so much discarded offal, used to seeing legs, hands, heads, and sometimes faces stare up at him blankly from the grey mud. So Alfred's used to seeing a lot of these horrible sights around him, his friends dying, the remains of soldiers around him. So this idea of used to is constantly repeated. So we see the technique, the use of repetition. And then it says used to seeing his pals inside suddenly all spilled out from between their buttons or poking through the rips and gaps in the uniforms. So all of this has kind of made him desensitized to the idea of violence. He's constantly seeing the remains of his friends. And we see that this trauma is building up inside of him. So as we approach the end of the extract, we can speak about this sense of a flashback of Alfred recalling what he's been through, what his experiences have been like. And we develop this deep rooted sympathy for him. And we see this build up of a possible trauma. As we reach the final part of the extract, the focus then shifts back to the rat. So this you can then state the use of their cyclical structure. So we see the focus is on the rat as it zigzagged through the mud, down the service trench, and it passed. And then this rat keeps moving. And then finally, Alfred kills the rat. So not only does he smash it down, says he had a moment of feeling sympathy for it. So as this rat's been destroyed, but then he refers to it as another dirty dead thing, another of God's creatures that have given up the ghost in the mud like so many others. So this could be a reference to the soldiers and the dying of people around him. This idea that everyone has given up with life and there's nothing left for them. Says no one's there to grieve its loss but him. So this rat actually symbolizes the loss of human life and how human life has become so fragile and so meaningless. So as we approach the end of the extract, these are points that you can discuss from a structure perspective and really think about the choices. Then says he twisted his boot on the rat, pushing its bloated little body further into the mere. So not only does Alfred kill the rat, he gets a sense of satisfaction from really destroying and killing the rat. So if we link it to the previous paragraph that we just read, it shows that Alfred lacks this sense of humanity, and it shows the impact that war has had on him. It's changed his behavior, it's changed his outlook on life. So we're seeing the real impact again of war and the impact of trauma. And this contrasts to the opening of the extract where the rat just scurries into the scene and Alfred is in a state of shock. Whereas now at the end of the extract, we see the change as Alfred has asserted his power over the rat. He's killed the rat, he's destroyed it, and he shows a lack of humanity and remorse. So these are the points that I would discuss in my response for question 3.